And just 2 days before the Australian Open, the world men's #1 tennis player Novak Djokovic is returning to detention in Melbourne. This is after authorities cancelled his visa for the second time in the interest of public health. Australia had barred the Serbian star from entering the country last week over his unvaccinated status. Now for more, Greg Navarro joins us from Sydney. Greg, so bring us up to speed on the latest saga for Djokovic.
Well, it's been another busy day. Now, Novak Djokovic's lawyers did appear before a judge briefly. It's a procedural hearing to figure out how their case in challenging the government's decision to cancel his visa for a second time will go ahead. All parties involved agree that a hearing will take place Sunday morning here Australian time. And one of the interesting things about that is we're not sure yet if there'll just be one judge to hear the case or three judges. If there are three, we're told that Australia's immigration minister, if he loses this case and Djokovic's lawyers are successful in challenging his decision to cancel Djokovic's visa, he would not be able to appeal all of that. Now, Djokovic currently does not have a valid visa to be in this country. Now, this morning he was allowed to spend a few hours in his attorney's offices, but at this point he is either on his way or he is in. We're just awaiting confirmation in detention, presumably the same type of hotel detention that he spent days in leading up to all of this. Remember this though, if his lawyers lose this legal challenge tomorrow, one day before, as you mentioned, the start of the Australian Open, not only would he miss the Australian Open and be deported, but he could very well be barred from coming back to this country for at least 3 years.
Serious, very serious consequences there for Djokovic. What do we know about this second visa cancellation? Why did it happen?
Well, we're getting some insight now. According to some documents from the immigration minister, apparently he believed that Novak Djokovic did in fact contract COVID last month, and there were some questions about the validity and the timing of all that. For him, the immigration minister, the problem was a health safety issue. In fact, he said that he was concerned that Djokovic poses a threat as a public figure because of being such a high public figure, having such a well-known stance against vaccines. There was a concern that he would strengthen the anti-vaccine sentiment in this country, which is very low. You have to remember that Australia, I think the total vaccination rate of the country is above 93%. So it's the anti-vaccination movement is a very small movement. Nonetheless, that's the position that the immigration minister is taking in this case. Djokovic's lawyers say that that's ridiculous. They're prepared to argue against it. They're also prepared to argue that Djokovic is a hugely popular tennis player, even in Australia, and that people want him to play, and that's one of the reasons why he should play. Now, as far as the timing of the release of the immigration minister's announcement yesterday, Friday, here, late Friday afternoon here in Australia. Remember that he began considering whether to revoke the visa on Monday, waited until Friday to make that announcement. Some legal analysts believe that was in fact a strategic move to give Djokovic's attorneys as little time as possible to respond, and certainly short enough time so that Djokovic just simply wouldn't get a decision before Monday's start of the Australian Open, when he is also scheduled to play. Now, that saga has become very much a political issue here. Scott Morrison, the Prime Minister, getting behind it. However, the opposition leader was saying that the government has been using this as a smokescreen to take away from some of the real problems in this country at the moment surrounding COVID.